What's up, Geek fam? It's Cameron here for GadgetGeek, and actually it's always been me, because you know, I'm kind of the only one that does videos. But whatever. So as you probably already know, this year is the 10th anniversary of the iPhone. So as you can probably guess, it's most likely going to be a pretty huge update. So let's get into it. There have been a whole raft of rumours over the last 6 months, and they've swayed back and forward between being true and not true and so on. So there will likely be 3 new iPhones: an iPhone 8, an iPhone 8 Plus, and a new model iPhone that I'll talk about a little bit later. So this new iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus will likely be the same design as the current 7 and 7 Plus. Now, the only exception here will be that it will have a glass back. The reason for this glass back is to allow wireless charging capability. Now, a lot of other phones have had wireless charging for a while. LG and Samsung are some of the phone companies that have had wireless charging in their phones. Now, I'm not such a big relier on wireless charging, to be honest. It's not such an important thing for me at the minute. However, in the future, when it becomes wireless charging in a room, then it'll become really important. But for me, it's not that important. Having said that, a lot of people have wanted Apple to have wireless charging in their iPhone for a while, so it's good to finally include that. Now, it's safe to assume that Apple will include the new Apple A11 chip in their phone, as well as 32GB, 128GB, and 256GB storage configurations. Apple is collaborating with LG to produce a new camera module. Now, this camera module will be a portrait one, and it will be a 3D camera module. And we know this because Apple have recently published a new 3D object recognition patent, as well as a gesture recognition patent. And this also links to the fact that Apple launched ARKit in their iOS 11 launch. Now, the new iPhone, that's probably what you're all watching this video for. So there have been multiple names for this new iPhone: 2017 iPhone, iPhone Pro, just the iPhone. At one point it was going to be called the iPhone 8, and now recent rumours have said it's going to be called the iPhone Edition. However, that's now apparently no longer true. Personally, I think it's going to be called the iPhone X. That's because this year is the 10th anniversary of the iPhone, and it's going to be a special model. Now, Steve TS did confirm this on Twitter. He recently found source code within an iOS 11 source file, and he confirmed that it will be called the iPhone X. So, the iPhone X is likely to have a whole new revamped design, but unfortunately it could be quite pricey. Vanny Geskin, a reliable leak source, says it could cost between $1,000 all the way up to $1,200. So the new iPhone 8 will also get a portrait-oriented camera. This camera will be able to record 1080p at 240 frames per second, and also 4K at 60 frames per second. This will allow for a lot smoother video. Now, this has been a rumour for a while, but the iPhone 8 will get a new full screen display. This means absolutely zero bezels. This full screen display will cover the entire front of the phone. So the native Apple apps in iOS 11 had a whole new redesign. So you'll notice that the text and the title of each app is actually a lot lower than previously, and that is to allow space for this new camera module. So the camera module will look like this, and the screen will wrap around it. This new display will be an OLED display produced by both Samsung and LG, and that is to keep up with demand. So the advantage of this display is that it's got increased brightness, it produced more accurate blacks, and increased contrast of colours. So you're probably wondering about how the home button and Touch ID works on the new iPhone. So a lot of sources originally pointed towards the fingerprint reader being embedded within the OLED panel. So Qualcomm did test a new technology that would send electromagnetic waves through different materials, and that would be how it scans your thumb. However, other sources said they would put it in the home button, and some sources even said that they would put it on the back of the phone, similar to the Pixel and the Samsung Galaxy S8. So these rumours went back and forth, some leakers claiming they were true, not true, and so on, until a couple of months ago, a supposedly Apple executive claimed that there was not going to be any Touch ID at all, and instead apparently they were going to replace this with a new facial scanning technology called Face ID. So this technology would scan your face using the camera on the phone, and it would even be able to work from a distance when the phone was on the table. Personally, I believe Apple will pull through and keep the fingerprint sensor embedded within the screen, and that's because we know Apple prefer to perfect technology before releasing it, and Apple is very much unlikely to put all your security and all your privacy at a risk and in the hands of a new technology such as supposedly Face ID. The other reason I think Apple will keep the fingerprint sensor on the iPhone is because the fingerprint sensor and Touch ID are such a big part of iOS and allow so many capabilities. If this new Face ID system is implemented onto the new iPhone, then there will likely be a new set of emojis. So these will be emoji GIFs, and they will adapt based on your facial expression. So if I were to have a frowning face, the camera will be able to scan my face and come up with some emojis that will also frown and do a frowning GIF. Now onto colours. So the iPhone will keep the black colour, the gold colour and the silver. However, unfortunately we'll be dumping jet black, the rose gold colour and matte black. Now these are in exchange for these two new colours. So these new colours, according to Vanya Geskin, will be blush gold and a mirror-like option. We know Apple love to give all of their products fancy names, and so they're calling it blush gold, but really a lot of people just think it's brown. Now Apple has had a crackdown recently on Rumours, so they have implemented new security measures at Foxconn, the manufacturing plant for most Apple products, and they also don't allow any kind of phone or camera into the actual manufacturing plant itself to make sure that nobody takes photos. And so personally, I believe lots of these rumours that have come out have been fake and created by Apple. Now this would be in an effort to lower the hype and lower the expectations, so launch events are a lot more newsworthy. Finally, release date. So we do know Apple is one for keeping launch events and release dates pretty similar throughout all the iPhone's releases. So the rumours said that it would be launched at the launch event around September 10th and then released around September 15th or September 20th. Now these rumours were pretty correct. Apple recently sent out an invitation on their website for the Apple special event. Now this event will be taking place at the new Steve Jobs Theatre that has just been completed at the Apple campus in Cupertino, California. The event will be on September 12th. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.